how to buy your first rental property even if you are broke. Did you know that you are 10 times more likely to become a millionaire if you own even just one rental property? Did you know that most of the US tax code is designed for real estate investors and to our benefit? Well, it's all true. And now is the time for you to get in this game, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how you get that done, because now is the time. Let's go.
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. If you gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
I'm gonna share with you the fastest way to buy your first rental property with equity on day one. I'm gonna share with you the big secret on how to get rental properties without using your social security number. And if you stay to the end, I'm gonna share with you a major secret that no one is talking about. There are so many benefits to owning real estate. Obviously, being a real estate entrepreneur has changed my life and turned me in from working every day in a corporate job to a multi-millionaire. Because real estate is the #1 way to wealth. It provides you with passive income from your rental properties, or you can sell the properties and have active incomes and get lump sums of cash from selling off properties that you own just a few years. Additionally, it improves your net worth. Literally, I was a millionaire on paper before I ever quit my job because I had rental properties. And there are so many tax deductions as a real estate investor. Literally, the tax code is designed to help you get rental properties because you get to write off all of the expenses for the rental properties. There's depreciation that you get to write off, and just so many things when it comes to investing in real estate that the tax benefits are incredible. So this not only helps you make more money, because obviously you have rental properties bringing in cash, you have lump sums of cash when you sell those properties, but you also get to keep more of the money that you make because it's in real estate, and the tax code is designed to help you do that. So now that you know you need rental properties, let me tell you how you get one. So there are 3 major ways to get your first rental property, even if you're broke. And I'm gonna give you them from good, better, and best, because they're all great ways to get real estate and they all will work, and you can do them while you're broke. But again, I'm gonna list them out from good, better, and best. So let's get to it. So here's the good way to get real estate if you don't own any real estate. If, for example, you are a newbie investor, you're just a person and you own no real estate whatsoever, this is the perfect time to start investing in real estate because you can buy your first rental property as your primary residence. Yeah, let me explain this to you. So most of us know that you can buy real estate with only putting down a small percentage. And in some cases, you don't have to put any money down if you plan to live in the property. Now, I know I said rental property, but think about this. If you start thinking like a real estate investor and you are buying your first home, you can literally put down no money or even as little as 3%, move into that property, live in it for a couple of months, a year, however long you decide, and then that will be your first rental property, okay? You'll move out of it and then you will get more properties. And this is how most people start in real estate. Did you know that most people's first rental property is the house that they live in, a house that they just bought to live in with their family? Yeah. But the problem is most people do not intentionally think that this is going to be a rental property, so they don't buy it in the right neighborhood. They don't buy it with the thought that it's going to be a rental property and this is to make the most amount of money, things like that. They usually just bought it based on where they wanted to live. Maybe it was close to their job or it was in a good school district or something silly that really didn't necessarily have to do with how much the property was going to go up in value. But with what I'm going to teach you, you are now equipped with knowledge that most people do not have. You literally can buy your first property that you plan to live in with the mindset that this is going to be a rental property, right? So now you're buying it a lot differently. You know you're not going to be living in that property 5 years, 6 years. You know, I'm going to be moving out of this property and turning it into a rental property. So I'm going to buy this property in an area that I know is going to rent for the most amount of money, for example. Maybe I'm not going to get this property way out in the suburbs because it's near my job. Maybe I will get a property that's closer to the city because I know those properties go up in value the most. Just for an example. So that's the first way. That's good. And that's an easy way to get your first rental property with no money down or as little as 3% down using a traditional mortgage, okay? And with down payment assistance programs, you can literally get a mortgage and put no money down and have your first house that you know is going to be your rental property. So that's number one. Let me give you number two, because this gets better as I go along. Number two, Better, house hacking. Yes, this is when you buy a multifamily property and you rent the property out to other tenants, but you live in the property as well. For example, say you buy just a 2-unit. Now again, you can buy a 2-unit, a 3-unit, or a 4-unit using a traditional mortgage. So that same thing that I told you that was good, that you can put down just 3% or no money, you can do that up to 4 units, okay? Up to 4 units is considered a single family home. So you can have a 4-unit, for example, and rent out the other 3 units and live in one. Now, I promise you, if you do that, most likely you are going to be very profitable. Trust me, I have multi-unit properties and they do very well. Even if you started small and you got just a duplex, for example, and you have one side that you live in or you live downstairs and the upstairs level, I'll show you our duplex, can be rented out. Additionally, you can do even different things. You can rent 1 unit out as a long-term rental and then rent the upstairs unit out as an Airbnb or vice versa. You can do so many things with multifamily properties. You literally can live in one, do long-term rentals, do short-term rentals, and in some cases, you can even sell one of your units in a duplex to someone else. It depends on what state you are in, but this is an easy way to use the traditional mortgage system and the traditional financing system and end up with your first rental property. And again, statistically speaking, multifamily properties go up in value even more than just single family homes. So it's a great investment. Start looking into it. All right, now let's get into this next one because it is amazing. Whoa, before I get to this last one, because like I said, this is so good, I need you to comment below and tell me which one of these 2 things are you most interested in. Do you think that you could buy a home and would you do a single family home? Or would you want to live in a multi-family unit and be a landlord but have your tenants near you? Again, there's pros and cons. Let's have a conversation about this because buying a property where you have tenants living where you live does have some stuff that we got to talk about. So comment below and let's have a conversation. Single family home or multi-family unit home? Which one do you prefer? Okay, back to this video. And number 3, this is the best way ever. And literally, this is how Noel became a multimillionaire in real estate. And the answer is subject to. Yes, you literally can buy properties subject to, or you can do what's called a lease purchase option. Meaning, I'll tell you the first one first, which is subject to, which I absolutely love because you own the property. You buy the property subject to the existing mortgage staying in place. Yeah, I know. You're like, wait, how does that work? How could I possibly buy a home and they leave the mortgage that they have in place? Well, this is totally legal and ethical. You can buy a home subject to and leave the existing mortgage in place. Yes. And so what happens is we start taking over those mortgage payments. Essentially, I get the deed to the property, I close on the property, and then I get the deed, but I start paying that seller's mortgage. I am now responsible for it. And we sign what's called a separate agreement where I agree to take over those payments. Sometimes we agree with no end in mind, but sometimes we agree, well, I'll take over those payments for 2 years or 3 years. And that allows me to start making money with the property. It allows me to never have my social security number checked. I didn't have to give a bank any of my information, none of my income, none of those things. Usually just showing the seller that I have the funds. And again, they can be borrowed. You can show them your lines of credit. You can show them your business lines of credit, your business accounts, business credit cards. Just showing them that you have the funds to take over that mortgage payment is usually enough to get the deal done. But let me give you the real secret sauce to this. What I said, most people are just not talking about this. The way you really get this done is something that I've shared with you guys before, where I teach you about real estate investing. And again, you can watch an entire playlist on real estate investing. I'll put a link to it right here. But what you do is you find someone that's most likely behind on their mortgage payments, okay? For example, this is the easiest way and how Noel did it. You find someone that's behind on their mortgage payments. Even if they're just 3 months behind on their mortgage payments, they're about to go into foreclosure and lose that house. So they are very open to doing a subject to sale, meaning I'll sell the house to me, I take over the deed and I take over the mortgage payment, and I will give you the money, the down payment or the security deposit, however we do it, to pay off those past due mortgage payments. This helps them because it fixes their credit. They now have an investor, me, that can take over the mortgage payments, and I get a property that I can make money on. Yes, this is how you and my students are getting their first rental properties. Now, aside to this, instead of if you're nervous about doing a subject to and you're like, maybe I just want to lease this property before I actually buy it because I'm a little bit afraid of the risk, you can do the exact same thing with a lease purchase. And the money that you give to pay off those past due mortgage payments is your security deposit. okay? And then you paying the rent each month instead of taking over their mortgage payments, you still pay it directly to the mortgage company, but those are the rental payments. And again, you can make an agreement and write this all up, and it's legal and ethical between you and the seller. So long as the seller is not, mentally disabled or something like that, you are helping the seller and you are doing a great thing to get your real estate investment portfolio going, and helping someone that's in a situation where they're about to go into foreclosure, lose their down payment, lose all the equity they have in the house, get thrown out by the sheriff. Like, it's an awful situation that you can really be a hero in. So I absolutely love buying homes subject to or lease purchase. I have a surprise for you. My new book, Real Estate Millionaire Secrets, goes over everything that I just shared in this video and more. In this book, I pour my heart out and I teach you how I went from my parents' basement broke, bankrupt, bad credit, multiple foreclosures, no job, just the worst situation ever, and started investing in real estate, and then went to dozens of rental properties, literally from zero to rich. All right? I teach you everything in this book, and you can get it absolutely free at noelsfreebook.com. Just go to noelsfreebook.com, put your information in, and I will ship this book to you absolutely free. You just cover the shipping. I just want to make sure that you have all of the resources, all of the tools, and all of the knowledge that you need to be successful. This is Noel, to your success.